Hi everyone. Let's start off with a small survey, and I encourage you all to participate. Raise your hand if you have a phone. I'm expecting basically everyone to have their hand up. Raise your hand if you use that phone on a day-to-day basis. Again, pretty much all of you. Put your hand up one more time if you have a social media app, such as WhatsApp, Instagram. You get the gist. How many of you think that I have a phone? This might surprise you, but I actually don't, and we're going to dive deeper into why that is. In today's age, technology has become the norm for education, for entertainment, and most important of all, how we connect with one another. Every day, you use your phone to text your friends, post pics on social media, or maybe attend a business meeting. We couldn't imagine a day without it. But hear me out. Is technology really the best medium for communication? On my 13th birthday, my parents asked me if I wanted a phone, and I refused. Why did I say no? Because I saw what it was doing to people. There have been countless times when I'm at a party, a literal social gathering, and all I see around me is faces buried in screens, probably scrolling or texting. I'd usually be one to make conversation, but now I'm stuck there, staring at the wall, until it's time to either eat or leave. We're being hypnotized, slowly, by these devices. Think of the irony of it all. Why are you constantly texting that friend when she lives just a few minutes away? And the weird thing is, why would you feel more comfortable to just text, even when given that opportunity? Technology is starting to get in the way of how we communicate with people face to face. Don't get me wrong though, technology is extremely useful. It has seen exponential advancements over the last few decades, sending emails in seconds rather than days, helping us feel closer with family and friends on the other side of the world. Let's take a further look. According to Our World in Data, in 2001, it used to cost approximately $95 million to sequence the full genome of a human. And guess what? Today, it's down to just about $525. Technology has provided convenience. Toast collected some food delivery stats, and they stated that in 2025, a whopping 40% of adults order takeout 3 to 4 times in a month because technology has just made it easier to do so. Even our education system. As we all know, here itself at Monroe Township High School, every student is provided with an iPad and a completely digitized form of learning, replacing the heavy binders that we used to lug around in our backpacks. And I should be getting a phone soon. In the 21st century, technology has become so integrated into our daily lives that it's difficult to get around without your own phone anymore. Now, imagine the purpose of technology to real-life relationships as something called a double-edged sword. Merriam-Webster defines a double-edged sword as something that has or can have both favorable and unfavorable consequences. On one side, technology is vital for our real-life relationships because it helps us communicate with people we can't necessarily see in person. The sheer convenience of technology continues to maintain our relationships, and this means many things. Keeping in touch with loved ones, finding others who share your interests online, speaking with international business clients, or for you single people, getting that date on Tinder. Think about what it was like during the COVID-19 pandemic. It's been just over 5 years since the whole world shut down. And that would have meant the end of socialization itself, for the time being at least. Nobody could leave their houses, and without technology, how would people work their jobs? attend school, be informed about what's currently going on. Those were the bigger things. What about your grocery deliveries, your Netflix and chill, which became our new favorite pastime? It was a period of isolation, fear, and desperation. Without technology to support us, what would have become of society? Everything on the planet would have been paused. But because we had this digital world, which continued to keep us connected, people worked through it. We continued to talk to people. Families were still able to earn money by working from home, and kids had virtual school. Simultaneously, researchers were utilizing tech to learn more about this threat and look for potential solutions. Technology had helped us to exceed barriers a pandemic had put in place. But on the other side of this sword is how technology can actually damage our social bonds. You might have noticed, as the use of technology rises, everyone's focus has suddenly shifted to it. The same convenience that we knew to be good is now bad. Although it's become easier to communicate online, technology has turned into a shortcut, a quick go-to. And people just don't put in the effort to see each other in real life anymore because there's a newer, easier way to do so. Our phones have basically become an extended version of our arms. And that's how this all originated. But since then, the situation has escalated further. We're now pulling away as we resort to our phones. Social media may seem okay for a while. But since when did an app like TikTok show what was really happening in people's lives? You only see what they let you see. And how can that make for an honest, pure relationship? Instead of social gatherings and events, it's texting and it's FaceTime, and then when you finally meet someone in real life again, you find yourself scrolling. The population of technology consumers has expanded too. At first, it was just adults. Nowadays, children receive their first phone anywhere between 6 and 13 years old. Note that a child's mind is wired differently. They're not completely mature yet. They don't know the difference between right and wrong necessarily. They're still learning how the world works, and if we feed them and introduce them to technology too early, then you're already setting your kid up for a life where they can't go without technology use. I've seen this in today's generation. Instead of playing with their toys or going outside, children resort to joining each other in these online video games. I myself used to go outside practically every single day between 3 and 10 years of age. And I have this huge, absolutely huge collection of board games that I would always convince other people to play with me. But if I'm being honest, nowadays, I don't go outside as much as I used to. And perhaps that could just be because of my increasingly busy schedule. But I do admit that when I have free time, I would prefer to just sit back and watch some TV. And I still have that huge collection of board games, but now they just kind of chill in the back of the closet. So we've established that technology is a distraction, and it can harm relationships in that way. But cyberbullying is also a huge problem that can affect offline interactions as well as emotional well-being. Pew Research Center reported that 46%, nearly half, of teens in the USA have experienced cyberbullying at one point or another. Victims of cyberbullying face this online threat, which can cause lowered confidence, lowered self-esteem, and as a result, some may pull away from their family and friends. They may feel alone or struggle to put trust in others. It would become so difficult for them to maintain these healthy relationships. A majority of cyberbullying cases are related to school, by the way. A teen that experiences cyberbullying, knowing this, would become more isolated from peers in the school environment. David Schramm, a family life specialist at Utah State University, is on a mission to prevent technology use from getting in the way of family relationships in two places specifically, in bed and at the dining table. He coins this interesting term, technoference, technology plus interference. His survey provided much data that reflected the thoughts of parents across the USA. And here's some tidbits I found interesting. 6 of 10 adults report that they are concerned about their relationship with their children due to technology. Justifiable. And not just kids. Some parents feel this way about their spouses too. 55% surveyed show that their significant other spends too much time on their phone, with 48% saying that these parents wished they spent more time with the kids instead. As we can see from this survey, disconnection can happen because of technology, not just with friends and distant loved ones, but within the walls of one's own home, because it leaves less time spent together as a family, and other factors such as depression or anxiety that can separate one family member from the rest. As we can see, parents do acknowledge that technoference is an issue. What's left is addressing this issue and growing from it. With all the fascinating features that technology brings to us, it may be difficult to realize that certain parts of technology are actually causing us harm. At this point in time, the progression of technology cannot be controlled. But us humans, we can do something about this. Because, as much as you might think, it's not technology taking over us. And it shouldn't be. Because we are the ones in control of our actions. You should be in the driver's seat. It's important to assert our dominance so that we don't become slaves to technology. Think of it this way. I hand you a pan. You call the shots. What will you do with the power that you have? You could either cook up a delicious meal or smack someone over the head Rapunzel style. It's totally your choice. It's up to you what side of the double-edged sword you pick. Technology is similar. It has mass potential, but only if we know how to use it correctly, and in the end, the decision is yours. Because who am I to tell you what to do? I'm not against technology. None of us are. But seeing that technology use has its side effects, the population would certainly benefit from applying some general discipline to this practice. You can start by setting dates and times that technology is restricted. Keep it lenient at first. For example, the first and last hour of the day. Leave space in your morning and before bed to indulge in more enriching activities, such as meditating, yoga, journaling, or walking outside. Additionally, try not to use your phone in places like the bed and at the dining table, like specialist David Schramm said. Maybe this time during dinner, focus solely on your food. Or if you eat with family, then maybe engage in some light conversation. And bed is the one place where most people tend to really doom scroll before sleeping. So try reading instead. It might help. Let's take my dad, for example. Up until a few years ago, he worked in sales for roughly 14 years. He was really busy and used to travel almost every week for business meetings within the US. But when COVID came, he had to resort to working online, working from home. Now that we're allowed to go out again, he continues to take those in-person meetings over the online ones because he sees the value in making worthy connections away from technology. And you can too. And hey, if it helps, delete a couple socials, at least for a few weeks, to see how it plays out. You'll realize that you're not as dependent as you thought you were. Remember that technology is just what it is, a shortcut. But a real relationship is curated by experiences that can only be found face to face and not through a screen. Thank you.